Alright, Matthew Vaughn's new film Argylle has released in theaters last week. I have seen it over a week ago. I am going to give you my spoiler-free review today. Now, I do say spoiler-free, even though it came out a week ago. I'm going to try not to talk about spoilers. Other than any movie, I would. But this movie specifically, it's a movie that has so many twists and turns. The whole marketing strategy that they did here was, what if, no one knows who the real Agent Argylle is, and so that's the whole thing. They don't show it in the trailers, and you're sitting there like, I want to know who the real Agent Argylle is. That's kind of the trick of the movie. I don't want to spoil that for you guys and not have you guys go, because I fully believe that you should go see this movie. It's bombing at the box office. It's a massive bomb, and I feel so bad for it because I had a blast with it, and I think you should go out and see it too. So I'm not going to spoil it here. My recommendation is go out and see it. And with that said, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell, comment down below. What is your opinions? If you are one of the few people who went to go see Matthew Vaughn's Argylle, what are your opinions on the film? And with that said, let's go ahead and get this party started. And Argylle, for me, is a fascinating one. The trailers, I absolutely love. The marketing strategy is pure genius. If you don't know, Ellie Conway is not a real person. They made a book under the name of Ellie Conway. Nobody knows who wrote the book. So it's actually out. I didn't read the book, but I want to. Nobody knows what this is. And so then they made this movie, didn't spoil anything in the trailers, and kind of made it as like this is a book 4 of the universe. The real book is book 1. This is book 4. So it's just an interesting marketing strategy. And the whole movie kind of explores that to where I was just interested. I wanted to know more about what this universe is. And even in the mid-credit scene, yes, there is a mid-credit scene, it made me sit back and think, like, I want to know more about what's going on in this universe. It's pure genius for me because it gets me interested and will make me go see what the next thing is because I want to know what happened next. With that out of the way, let's actually get started talking about the movie itself. And the movie, for me, I think it gets much better in the second half. It's a common theme I'm seeing for Matthew Vaughn's film as I'm watching them over them for a ranking that will be coming next week. It's Friday as I'm filming this, so depends on when I get it out. It'll be this week or as of where I'm sitting next week. Anyways, a common theme that Matthew Vaughn does is a lot of his movies are kind of just basic in the first half, but as you get to the second half, you get the crazy action sequences and the stuff you go see a Matthew Vaughn movie for. And that's exactly what happened here, as the first half for me is just a basic spy thriller. It's a movie you've seen before. If you sit back and think about it, I can name like 3 movies that are almost exactly like this. It's kind of a spy movie taking advice from Romancing the Stone. That's kind of what it was. Thinking of The Lost City, I don't remember if it was 2021 or no, 2022, 2023. I believe that came out in 2022. But The Lost City is another one. It's kind of just like that. You get 2 leads. They're clearly following a romantic interest. One of them knows what he's doing. The other one is absolutely crazy. And it explores that. But it's also something you've seen a million times before. Of course, I think the cast here was great. Sam Rockwell was an absolute blast. I was laughing, but it's just all super... It was all forced. It feels forced. Not as good as most of it should be. Continuing on with what I was talking about the cast, Sam Rockwell is absolutely great here as a spy. Bryce Dallas Howard, I'm not a fan of her. I always feel in all her movies she's just a little too whiny and annoying and makes me want to just grab her by the throat and shake her. Pause. She's just not a great actress to me. She's always annoying. And I feel first half she's doing the same thing she always does, and second half she's actually really good. Once we get to the second half, she completely switches keys acting-wise, and she turns into really great. And as much as I don't like her, I think she did really good in this film. Other people, Henry Cavill, John Cena, they were marketed heavily. Pretty much almost everything that they marketed were their scenes. Like, that's how little they're in the movie. And, you know, I don't mind. I like Henry Cavill. He's not my favorite, but I don't mind him. I love John Cena. But I didn't really mind that they weren't in the movie. Bryan Cranston in this movie is an absolute blast. I think he was great as this villain. I love Bryan Cranston. Back to the, the Breaking Bad days, best TV show of all time. He's fantastic in that show. He's fantastic in this movie. So the cast is all rounded out and well, perfect. And that's what made the first half of the movie watchable. That's what made the first half of the movie not make me go, this is a total misfire. It made me go, I've seen it before, but it's still supernaturally fine. When we get to the second half, Matthew Vaughn finally walks into the studio and starts directing his movie again. It is an absolute blast. I do feel like it should have been rated R. That's definitely something. It felt me much better when somebody gets shot. You see just a little splash of blood, or, you know, they can blast the F-bomb a couple times. Because without it being rated R, kind of lost some of Matthew Vaughn's flair. But I feel like it absolutely gets crazy. Speaking of these action sequences, you get the one with the colors and all that stuff briefly in the trailer. That action sequence is incredible. There's one involving oil and skating. And that is phenomenal. That's one of the best action sequences ever. And I thought Matthew Vaughn directs these action sequences so good to where I was entertained throughout the whole movie. I was sitting back like, yeah, this is what I go see Matthew Vaughn movies for. Same thing as something like Kick-Ass or something like Kingsman: The Golden Circle, you know? As long as we get those explosive Vaughn action sequences, I will have a blast, and that's what I do. But another thing that elevated this movie is that there were a lot of twists. And I know people are probably saying right now, oh, it's way too much twists. There's too many twists and turns. And I get that criticism. But all of them to me made sense and fit into the story. It's not just like pulling something out of their butts and just throwing it on screen. I feel like it's explored very well and all the twists really work. I'm not going to spoil any of the twists. I really want to, but I'm not going to for the sake of spoiler territory. But all the twists fit the story and elevate the movie to where you get the great action sequences combined with the great twists, and Matthew Vaughn explodes in the second half. People are saying it's too much. Yeah, I don't care. Because Matthew Vaughn is a director I love, and he made a movie that I was really looking forward to, and the second half was a blast. I had a blast watching this movie, and even though the first half is something you've seen a billion times before, because of this cast and the action sequences and the twists, it makes it for a really entertaining time that is a perfect movie to just go sit down for a couple hours of your life and enjoy. And that's exactly what I got with this movie. I had a blast. Alright, before I give you my final score for the movie Argylle, stay tuned for a Matthew Vaughn ranking. Next week I still have to watch Stardust and the King's Man. So the reboot. So, not reboot, but the prequel. Whatever. I'm going to have a Matthew Vaughn ranking. Also, I still got to do my most anticipated movies of the year. Also, on my second channel, still stay tuned for my ranking of the 3 January TV shows. That will be probably the next video I film. But I'm going to get to my Argylle final score right now. Alright, Argylle, even though the first half's kind of bland, I really feel like the twists and the action in the second half was absolutely great, and it's elevated by a phenomenal cast and a great direction by Matthew Vaughn. So, while it's not perfect, I definitely had a blast with it. I'd watch it again. I'm going to give Matthew Vaughn's Argylle a B+. Thank you all for clicking on this video. Stay tuned. Let me know down below. What is your opinions on Matthew Vaughn's Argylle? I want to know all that and more. This was my ranking. Thank you guys for clicking on it. And stay tuned for a Matthew Vaughn ranking coming this week probably. And with that said, subscribe. Join the Nerd Army. Peace out.